And then
All right, we're live.
what's up,
How
everybody?
was your day?
Today was good. I literally just woke up. I feel like Chris, like I had just woken up. It was awesome. I had essentially a day off, handled some errands, played with the kids. She was sick. So,
Okay. Oh, your mic just died immediately.
and
Oh, there
that's
you
it.
are. There you are. You're back. You're back.
Yeah, I muted myself. That was it. Hung out with the kid today. She was sick. Got to hang out with her a little bit. We did a spa day for her. I did like her first spa day. So like put the mud mask on her and stuff. It was awesome.
You have a mud mask here. I love it. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
dude. Like I have this. But my wife, a company I swear by is Kiehl's. Anybody that wants like face products is Kiehl's. It's an amazing company, and so we have this like like avocado mud mask, and she's been wanting to play with it. So since she was sick today, I just put her down, did like a mud mask, and she boom passed right out. It was awesome.
I love it. Chris, what's up, man? How are you?
Your mic's really hot, man.
Sorry. I'll put it down.
We don't need more cowbell. We need more Carplos. Justin, yeah. You give me 50% return. I'm gonna turn into Carplos permanently.
Kelly says she has a mud mask on right now.
There you go.
Wow.
Avocado. She knows that's the secret. You gotta take care of your skin, folks.
So while we're waiting for Chris, there was a stock that was up 15% today.
I wonder which one.
It was a really interesting company.
I can't see it. I can't see it behind that raging boner you have coming up from behind that desk.
It's something was up, all right. Whether it's
Bro, your future girlfriend's gonna say, I want you to look at me the way you look at Palantir stock. Like,
oh my goodness.
Send it. I'm up 20% on my Palantir investment.
Okay, so let's do 5 minutes on that, then we'll move on. Chris, what were your thoughts on Palantir being up today, 15%?
Give me 1 second. I'm just connecting my my headphones.
Okay, Carlos, your thoughts? 15% up on Palantir.
It's great. I hope you guys are taking profit. I mean, let's be serious. I hope you guys are skimming some off the top. It's not sustainable, guys. You know, you recognize this, right? Okay. I mean, I could be wrong, but
you think RSI at 79 is not sustainable?
It's sustainable a little bit more. I mean, where are we? We're Thursday. So my prediction will be Friday at 3:30. Talk to me then. Talk to me tomorrow at 3:30 at the end of the day going into the weekend.
That's fair.
Kelly's
That's
like, shut up. Why? How much are you
right now? Wait, are you guys talking about the run up on Palantir?
Yeah. It's like,
Carlos says it's not sustainable at all. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know, man. I'm kind of with Carlos on this one. It's a little rough. Like, dude, gaining this much in this speed, it either means one of two things. It means that either there's some kind of meme rally going on where retailers just gone crazy and started buying like crazy, or it's institutional. And I don't know about institutional just loading up yet, but you never know, man. You never know.
They've got to be trickling in. If there's any, look, if you're an institution and there's any validity to them entering the S&P, you're going to start building that position now. Yeah. And look, for all these people telling me to shut up, this and that, look, if you see that this is run up, this is like a test run, right? Yeah. So if I'm you, this would double my conviction. This is not like, unless you guys all have the shares count that you think you need when this thing goes to the moon, look at this as like, okay, we're getting little test runs. We're revving the engine before we go, right? Yeah. So now it should give you more conviction to buy a little bit more on the next dip, because it gives you a little more confidence. This is what I did with Tesla. This is what I did with Enphase. This is what I did with Bitcoin. This is what I did with Ethereum. This is the way it goes. And for Palantir to get to the valuations that you think, get ready for some real volatility on the way up. You haven't seen anything yet. This has mostly been retail. So
yeah, I do want to say one thing to all the people on Twitter and pretty much in the Palantir community. I know some people have been selling some of their positions, not all of them, just a little bit of their positions off the top. And I feel proud to be part of a community that realizes this and is willing to take a little bit off the top, put it on the side, and gives them some optionality. So just in case it does go down, that they can buy in again and then average down their position, right? Because we saw that happen with Arnie. Arnie is probably the biggest person who came out publicly and said, "Look, I took a small position." Like he had close to 70% of his portfolio in Palantir, which, by the way, is kind of crazy. All right, he's like, if
it was
anyone
80%,
like anyone criticizing Arnie about Palantir, y'all don't know anything. He did the smart thing and he said, "Look, I am going to take some of the money off the table, put it on the side, And Palantir, if it comes down, I will buy back in. Otherwise, I'll diversify my portfolio a little bit. When you have a winner like this, I know the natural gut instinct is just let it run until there's, until it goes to the moon. And unfortunately, just like Carlos said, usually these things come with a lot of volatility. Because
there's a reason why that happens, right? People that are buying super low, you got to look at a chart, right? Say from $0 to save $100 for Palantir. As you go up, right? There's people that bought out. The same people bought this thing. It was when it was super low at the low, $3, $4, $5. When they get to $20 or $40, let's say $40, think about how much they're up. It's very hard to sit on that because, like Dave Ramsey once famously said to somebody that was holding a tremendous amount of Bitcoin, they were holding like 700,000, and he said, I want you to look at it like this. Every day that you don't sell, it's like you investing $700,000 into Bitcoin.
Correct.
And this person was like, damn, you know what? And even me, I'm like, that is true. I've been sitting on, say, hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit. And you go, would I take all that money and buy this stock today?
Yeah.
No, I probably wouldn't. So for some people, $40 is a massive return. You can't fault them for that. What you want is them to sell out a little bit. And then when they do buy back in, their shelf now gets higher. And this is what you want, because this is how you build a base, right? Where this is what creates those levels of resistance and support. It's those levels for people where they're up 10, 20x. This is normal. And you actually want to ride that. And if you're really the guy that's going to the moonshot, these are great opportunities to just lower your average and increase the profits when it does hit the moon.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, whenever I see run-ups like this, it's always a little bit suspicious, right?
A little sad, yeah.
Like, I would rather see a company go like this, nice and smooth all the way up, because then what happens is it's trading on a lot of good fundamentals. People are trickling in slowly. But when you see this rise up, that also means there's going to be people with 30, 40% gains who are going to sell out of the position because they're just like, hey, listen, I made my money on this. I'm out. This was like a trading thing for me. I joined in on the trade and I'm gonna get out. So I think in order to have a healthy price rise, you kind of want to see nice, steady, long-term growth, which hopefully that's the case. Yeah.
But you do see that when you zoom out, instead of clicking the day button in trading view, click the weekly view. All of a sudden it smooths out some of those bumps. Click the monthly view. And now you really start to see, like, if you look back historically at any of the charts of, like, say, Apple, Amazon, like the big mega cap stocks, and just zoom out to the monthly and look at 10 years. It's a steady climb straight up,
Yep.
It was really, ARK obviously bought some more shares today. I think obviously some more institutions have to come in to shoot the stock up 15%. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's holding at $12. I think Arnie was smart for taking some profits, and we'll kind of see where it plays out from there.
How high do you think it runs?
I think at 10:30, I was like, this motherfucker's falling back to 7.
I saw your video trying to get it to $11. I was like,
it was so fun.
You're like,
it was so fun.
I got lucky. I was asleep. I would have sold, but I was like,
yo, Chris doesn't give a fuck.
This man's ruthless, bro.
I'm a fucking ruthless mercenary, bro. If I see shit like, make money, okay, sell.
Yeah, you pull the trigger.
If I see, I mean, the thing is, if it was a slow, steady run up, I would have.
Yeah, like, if we get to 12, like by the end of June, no one's thinking of selling.
Yeah, so basically,
no.
I woke up at like 4:05. I'm like, oh shit, Palantir's like 14% up.
You're like, yo, slow down, Clark. Slow the fuck down.
I went to like a sell button and fucking shit was grayed out because it's after hours. I'm like, fuck it, man.
You can't trade after hours? You don't have that?
Huh? No, I don't like trading after hours because the bid and ask prices are too wild, dude. So
let me ask you a question. When you trade after hours, does it actually go through from 4 to 8, or does it wait until 9:30 the next morning?
Yeah.
No, it goes through right away. But you might not get the best market price because normal market hours are 9:30 to 4. So the bid and ask spread could be very wide in what you can get. So
you just do limit orders. I mean, I always do limits. Yeah. What I like about it is I always do limits. What I like about it is just there's just much less volume. So even during the process of you calculating what you're trying to do, the price is pretty much going to stay the same.
Yeah. By the way, that's one thing. That's a really good topic to talk about.
Real quick, what was your wife saying today as Palantir went up? Was she happy?
My wife?
Yeah, because
she's working all day, bro. She's working all day. She's making way more money on SMCI. She's got call options on SMCI that I bought her like a while ago, and she was like, "You're buying a stupid company on my portfolio, blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm buying." So I I took control of her portfolio like earlier this week, and I was like, I sold like so much shit that she had like gains and some of the stuff that she had losses on, and I just loaded up on banks. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell some Palantir. She was like, don't you dare. That's the one you don't get to sell. And I was like, oh,
most American husbands buy their wives Gucci bags and like, or
Chris buys
they at the
SMCI.
spot and he's like, yo, babe, I got you some fucking sweet call options. She's like, oh, you wait till tonight. Let me know how many shares do I have?
I went to dinner with a friend from college, and she's a girl as well. And she was trying to get into the markets, right? I think I told the story before, and she was like, "Oh, I'm like thinking of investing in environmentally friendly companies." And then I mentioned Tesla, and she's like, "Yeah, but Elon Musk is blah blah blah." Right? She was against Elon.
She hates money. Then she hates money.
She hates money, and but she's like, she set up her Robinhood in front of me, like she's really trying to get into it. And I'm just like, yo, isn't that? It would be so cool to just tell a friend about a position or buy it for your significant other, and then it goes up, and you're like, damn. My significant other just made me some fucking money.
Speaking of which, here's a great gift that you can buy someone. It's a really unique sort of gift. I don't know if they're still in business, but there was a company called oneshare.com, and you can buy someone a share in a company that's a legitimate share in a company, but it comes as like a plaque that they can put up on the wall.
Wow.
And I remember like buying a share of Apple for my sister like 1 year. This is like in 2000 or something like that. So it's a fun gift. And I do think that for kids, especially if you want to get them a great gift, buying them stocks is a great gift because it's gonna,
you can still get certificates, like stock certificates. If you ask for it, you can still get them. Like, I know it's weird, like, because you have to like do all deposits, like everything is electronic right now. But I know some people like that, like want to have like this generational moment that they can actually reach out to their broker and say, hey, I actually want a stock certificate for this specific stock that I bought in this year. Because this could be one of those things that end up, like I know some people did that for Tesla, where they actually have a stock certificate for Tesla.
Yeah, right. Can you bring up Levik's comment? 712. My biggest positions all have CEOs that I like. That's important.
Elon Noto Carp.
That's important too, because you are giving them your money.
Yeah, that is true. Chris, you said on Twitter that what you're seeing in Palantir is very similar to what you think might happen in SoFi. Can you expand on that?
All right. So what we saw with Palantir, one of the trends that I've been seeing a lot in the last year is that you will have a company perform in a certain way after doing some stuff, and then people kind of reward it. And based on that move, you can kind of see, okay, what's the next thing? So as an example, Meta had taken a huge dive. It was down 70%. Brad Gerstner comes in, speaks to Mark Zuckerberg, and Mark Zuckerberg listens to Brad Gerstner, and he starts cutting, right? So he starts laying off employees. And I'm not talking about a few people here and there. I'm talking about huge amounts of layoffs. So what happens to Meta stock? Meta stock goes, right? Now what happens? Google follows suit. Amazon follows suit. Microsoft follows suit. All these other companies, they're like, hey, maybe we need to get a little bit lean too. And so when they start getting lean, their numbers start getting better. And then what happens? They start mooning as well. Right. So I think it's a very similar thing with SoFi, where right now a lot of people are looking at Palantir and they're saying, okay, Palantir achieved GAAP profitability 2 quarters in a row. They're looking like they're going to be GAAP profitable for the rest of the year. So that is a positive sentiment. Anthony Noto is just trying to make sure that the stock price does not fall below a certain threshold, because if it does, it's really bad. Like I'm that's the one area that I'm always scared of with SoFi is a bank run. So the thing is, he needs to support that stock price. So one of the things that he's going to definitely do, in my opinion, as CEO, is make sure that the numbers are good for the rest of the year, no matter what it takes, so that the stock price can get back to a normal, healthy level where people are not worried about like a bank run, right? So, I mean, he's buying shares to support the stock price. So that should clue you into like what his plan are. So I would think that SoFi will do everything in its power to get GAAP profitability. He said it on the call that, hey, we're starting to see the possibility of, GAAP profitability in Q4. I don't think that was a light statement.
It's going to happen. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
So the thing is, if we know that this is something that's likely to happen, right? It's almost like leading the target when you're sniping at something. You don't aim at the target. You aim a little bit ahead of it. So by the time the bullet gets there, you end up striking the target pretty heavily. So right now, SoFi, being that it's been lopped in with a lot of the banks, especially the regionals and so on, they're undervalued. Their stock price is pretty fairly valued right now based on the book. So I think that they could have a nice sizable run up going into 2024. So if I was betting, and I would say that the deck is rich in terms of blackjack. Like, let's say we're going to blackjack. Right now, the deck is very rich for SoFi. They have a lot of great positive catalysts that are on their way in the next 6 months to a year. And when those catalysts start coming up and gap profitability hits at the same time, it's going to be off to the races, you know. And then, and like I said, I'm overall, I'm bullish on the finance sector right now, the banking system right now. A lot of people like have left it for dead. So
there was a company that was also up today called Truist.
Yeah, that's right.
Doing decently.
That's right.
You see, we talked about this a little on Twitter. Did you see the interview with Musk yesterday after the shareholder interview he did with the guy from CNBC?
Yeah,
where he talked about the Everything app, and he spoke specifically about how he wants to include the payments in there, payment system in there, and he was saying that the banking industry kind of needs an overhaul. This is what I did want to get. I'm looking for the video now. If anyone's got it, I was just curious what your guys' thoughts were on that.
I think he wants to do what PayPal really was supposed to do, but PayPal was ahead of its time.
Sure.
I think it's much more easier said than done. Yes, could I send money to people on Twitter and would that be effective? Sure. But to integrate a global payment system at the scale at which Twitter is as with only 2,000 employees, I don't think is that simple. So I think they got to figure out videos first. Like, figure out the YouTube competitor. Like, there's a lot of shit they got to figure out. But I do think in the next 5 years he could do it.
I'm surprised that there's no takeover offers. Like, honestly.
Twitter?
No. To SoFi. To SoFi. Like, one of the things is that we're seeing is this concept of the everything app, like the super app. SoFi is going for it. Like, I see SoFi has its own ETFs. It has its own banking system, of course, but it also has, now you can trade on it. You can do X, Y, and Z. You can do your IRA. You can do, like, they're hitting so many verticals and they're very well diversified. I think this personal loan thing is that business. You know what? Maybe this is something we could talk about in SoFi Weekly. Not really here, because otherwise it'll take too much time.
Yeah.
So,
Carlos, you can send the StreamYard link at the top, or it's in WhatsApp, to the guy.
Oh yeah, I did. I sent it.
You send it to him. And while you're doing that, I want to tell a little story. There was a solar panel guy that came to my house today. Carlos, I didn't know we were doing a solar consultation today. But he came to my house, and before I went live, before Finance Junkies, I asked him, hey, what microinverter company do you use in the solar panels? And he said SolarEdge. And I said, why not Enphase? And he's like, bro, fuck Enphase. They suck.
What was his reason?
He said, like, the thing dies easily, or that they're too replaceable, or some crazy reason. I don't know.
That's not factually correct. You got to understand.
I wish Vitaly was here because I could get to say that.
But you got to understand the SolarEdge Enphase debate is like fucking Nintendo Genesis. It's like,
really,
yeah. It's like you're only in one camp. I mean, unless you're an investor, you're going to invest in both, and you're basically hedging. But like when you're in one camp, you're not in the other camp. And so they are going to talk shit about each other. What he said is factually incorrect. I had a SolarEdge system. Okay. I was sold an Enphase system. They put a SolarEdge system. It failed multiple times for several months. No one could figure it out. And they spent a bunch of money trying to fix it. And eventually I looked at my contract and said, give me what is on my contract. Ever since then, haven't had an issue. And I know several people that have Enphase panels. So Enphase is the superior product. There's no way, but he's not going to tell you that. You know why? Because I actually think they make more money on SolarEdge installation.
I think so too.
So if they're going to charge you $25,000, but they can get it in there, because even though the well, it depends on how big your system is, but even though SolarEdge has one single inverter that could say be $5,000, an Enphase system will probably cost you more on the inverter side because you're buying individual units. So it's going to be more expensive. An Enphase system is more expensive. But with something like solar or anything that pertains to like your lifestyle, you don't want that to fail. You'll pay a premium to make sure it never fails. But most people don't care, right? Some people don't care. They're willing to take the risk. And that's when you go SolarEdge, when price is the determining factor. So
there's two. All
right,
two different.
We got our guests in the back. You want to go ahead, Chris? Finish up, and then I'll bring my guests in the back.
No, I was just gonna say they're two different. They're just two different technologies. One is microinverters. The other one is string inverters. Right.
Well, string optimizers. String optimizers. Essentially, at some point, the power that the panels create needs to be converted to the power that you can use in your house. Enphase thinks it's more efficient to convert that right at the panel, so it comes in as AC power. SolarEdge takes all the DC feeds from the solar panels and converts them in one spot. And the Tesla systems work the same way. The problem with that is if that inverter goes down, you get zero production. There's nothing. There's only one place, the single point of failure. End phase, if one panel goes down and one inverter goes down, your system continues to operate. And there's other advantages to end phase, but that's essentially what it is, right? So you're going to pay a premium to mitigate and spread out your risk, period. Yeah. But if this is what's going to power you in the event of a blackout, do you want to risk that?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, before we bring on our special guest for the evening, we have hit a milestone at 20 minutes.
What?
In 0.1 seconds. Carlos, do you want to say it for me and then I'll ring the bell?
We have hit 500. We
500
people.
This is the first time ever, by the way. First time.
No, that is the first time I've seen the number 5 in front of there.
First time ever. Thank you, 500 people, for being here. We have a special guest with us today, Rango.
Hey.
What's up, man?
What's up, Rango?
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
Good,
it's
man.
Going good. Carlos, you want to give an introduction to who this is, and then we'll
yeah. Pull up the tweet. I sent you the link to the tweet. I saw Rango's tweet a little while ago on Twitter, and apparently you either left Apple or you used to work at Apple, and now you're starting a new position at Tesla as an engineer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that your perspective. First of all, your story. I want to hear that story, obviously, but I also thought that your perspective on tech, the future of tech. As it pertains to the conversations that we have on Finance Junkies, because you told me that you watch the show, would be really beneficial because you're on the inside, right? So we're on the outside just throwing our money at guys like you. You're like the stripper. So
yeah. I mean, what do you want to talk about? Any specific questions? Or
well, why'd you leave Apple to go to Tesla? Let's start with that one.
I mean, it's quite simple. I mean, I'm 28. I wanted to be in a growth company. Apple is quite mature, and just wanted a faster work environment, change of pace. Tesla is like quite demanding, but I'm quite young. So I think if there was ever a time to make a move like this, I think this is like the perfect time for me. And I'm also like a huge Tesla fan. Like you can see in my tweets before, like,
and you've been in
for a long time
for a while.
That's how you
I've been
connected from the Tesla community, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been like in Tesla for a while, invested in Tesla for a while, and I actually could have joined Tesla earlier, back in 2018. But there's a bunch of issues. Tesla was not in a great state, and I was just graduating out of school. I had like a lot of visa issues, so I didn't want to get laid off out of school because you have to find a job in 60 days and etc.
What specific type of engineering and what department are you working in?
I mean, I write firmware. I write software, firmware, low-level software. Like I write software on the chips, and basically, like I used to write software for like I was in the initial I was in the initial team for the M1 chips, like from the design to bring up to. I mean, I joined after they started the design, but like for the whole productization process. And after the M1, the whole M1, M2 all got.
Dude, I just have to say something.
I want to know about.
Hold on, thank you. Let me tell you, the M1 chip is a freaking beast.
It's pretty cool.
I am telling you, like, if anyone here does not know anything about a Mac, like I have had PCs my entire life. Okay, my entire life had every single type of PC you can imagine. Okay, I got a Mac. I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna splurge a little bit because you guys still charge like an arm and a leg. But I will never go back to using not a MacBook as my primary driver for video editing and for things like that, because low power consumption, fast charging, like the speed on it is amazing.
And they run so cool. They run very cool. No, the fans, you never hit the fans.
There's no such thing as a fan. Like Amit right now, I think his laptop dies every other hour. Like he got some kind of souped up NVIDIA GeForce XYZ laptop.
GeForce RTX Intel Core i9. Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay,
all that shit means nothing.
Respectable.
Carlos, it means absolutely dick if his live streams are dying midway through. Because I still remember the first 3 months where he was live streaming, the fucking fan would come on and be like,
but that's the GPU. You know? That's not the CPU. That processing is done on the GPU.
I was trying to help him him troubleshoot the damn thing for like 3 months. You know, I was like, every morning I'd call him like, hey, did you try to like turn your settings a little lower?
Right. You're like, yo, I found the problem. It's that your computer's not a Mac.
I'm using all my IT genius ideas to try to help him. And bro, at the end of it, I just want to be like, oh man, just fucking buy a Mac, man, and call it a day.
Bro, but I had a Mac in 2020, not the M1 chip, and it's the opposite of what you guys were saying. The fan was constantly, I would open up 2 tabs on Google Chrome and it would be like overheating, but I don't think it had the same chips you guys.
That's why I sold that's why I still have it here. That's why I got rid of my iMac Pro.
Right.
It was the thermal throttling was so bad.
Yes.
And now I have the M1 Ultra Studio. Fans never come on. Fastest machine ever. No crashing. No issues on export. It's a pretty.
So thank you, Rango. Thank you and the team that designed the damn thing. Good job. Now I'm looking forward to seeing what you do at Tesla.
Well, that leads to the next question. What are you most? Why are you excited about working for Tesla versus other companies, and what are you looking to achieve while you're there?
Yeah, I mean, it's in Tesla's pretty much next 10, 12 years. The roadmap is quite clear, you know, like what's going to be done is quite obvious, and the market size is obvious, and you know, and also government pumping in money into the market, right? Like into the EV energy. So it's quite obvious what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So I just want to be at the right place.
Can you state the obvious?
Yeah, I mean, like battery costs are very predictably going down, like the last X years, like 10, 12, 15 years. I mean, it's going down very predictably. And also like there is a huge push on the green side. Like I don't really believe in like being a green person. I mean, I believe
like I'm burning oil in the backyard right now.
No. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a green. I'm saying the best technology wins. Like at the end of the day, you should have a better product and a better technology. You know, like even if it's green. That's why the Nissan Leaf is not a success. That's why like, you know, nobody could sell electric vehicles and except for a Tesla. Like even at this point, you don't know that other electric vehicles even has demand. You know, like you know that Tesla can sell X number of vehicles in the US, but we have only validated Tesla has demand. We don't know if other electric vehicles have demand. It needs to be objectively a better product. Only then it wins. I mean, I think human behavior just works that way. And like, but the forces of the government is trying to push that, which is, in my opinion, not necessary. It will happen anyway because the battery costs are declining, and around that, like, you know, for example, Apple, right? Like, why did Apple become success? Semiconductors costs were declining. Semiconductors were getting better. Everything surrounding the technology costs were declining very predictably. So it was just obvious. Better technology was, and they made a good product around it. It's the same with Tesla, and the opportunity is also quite obvious too, because it's like you can think of Tesla as like Apple plus Foxconn together, because they do manufacturing too. Apple don't do manufacturing, and they do it with such capital efficiency. It's quite impressive what they're doing. Yeah.
Interesting. So with regards to future tech, how accurate do you feel that the predictions of today, both on the product side and the timelines, are?
With the market is doing, or like
even guys like us, YouTubers, analysts, the market in general, big investors.
I think the market is underestimating the pace of change, and even us. I think like humans are pretty bad at like just looking at exponentials, like how fast the change. Linear. Yeah. So it's just humans are pretty bad at it. So I think we are still underestimating how fast the change can happen. Like, because once the adoption curve switches, it's just you wouldn't have enough to make, is what I'm saying. That's why you shouldn't have any incentives to do it, because I feel like the battery incentives are like pretty good. Like, you know, the making the batteries inside, like I think it's a national security for the US and stuff. But giving tax credit for electric vehicles, I don't think that's necessary, honestly. I mean, in the short term, it is maybe because there's a recession coming, it helps. But in the long term, I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, I have a question. Do you actually think FSD happens in the next 2 years? In the next 2 years? Hold on, I said 2 years.
I mean, I don't want to like. That's just my opinion. And again, like,
don't ask him questions where it's gonna breach his confidentiality.
There's NDAs. And stuff.
I don't know anything about what's happening.
How does that breach someone's fun?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, not. So I don't want to say anything. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. But
but you like FSD as a concept. You think it's a cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Yeah. But yeah, it's again like you can see the pace of change of AI. I think it will happen. I think it'll happen sooner than expected. But and this is one thing. People talk about regulations. This is nothing internal or anything. This is some observation I made. People talk about regulations being a barrier. I think more than half of the states already have regulations in place for FSD to be productized.
Really, in the United States?
In the United States.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, like regulation is definitely not an issue, because if half of the states have like huge productivity gains, the other half will just follow up.
You're saying that the ones that apply to driver assist programs like cruise control, things like that, just scale up and cover?
No, I mean there is there is an obvious regulation. Like you see, Cruise and Waymo are like expanding. Like not like I think Cruise again just told that like they're going to like expand into more cities. Even more cities. So and I don't think, and they're a pretty small team. Like, so they're not like fighting a huge regulatory battle to make this happen. I think regulators are pretty smart at this. So, and they don't want to fall behind China on this. So I think they're being like, as long as it's not politicized in the future, I think it should be fine. They already have regulations in place for this. Yeah.
I think the only way it would get politicized is if you're talking about people losing their jobs, like truck drivers.
I have no idea, dude. Like, I mean, I have no idea how things get, like, you know, things happen, you know, like, you don't know. It's just, I mean, as much as like Elon gets flack for a lot of stuff, he's always operated in heavily regulated spaces all the time, right from the start for the last 22 years. Like, space is regulated, cars are regulated, and like so he knows how to, you know, and he's been getting stuff done in spite of
even trying to get approval to launch a ship like that was ridiculous. I mean, the amount of work that he had to prove, and environmental impact and all this stuff.
Exactly. So it's and he does it with, like, you know, less extremely good capital efficiency. And one more thing I like about Tesla is, like, I mean, Tesla might seem like a very big company from the outside, like it's become a conglomerate or whatever.
They have a lot of employees,
but if you look at the budget, like R&D budget of Tesla, and compare that with Apple, and compare that with it's like 1/10. So it's just the engineering team is like very, very small. Like, there are 100,000 employees, which includes like a lot of things, but the engineering itself team is like comparatively very small.
So, but see, I just want to say, I think that is probably one of the best decisions that most CEOs can make, where they keep the team small. I think that there's a notion that the more money you spend and the more people you hire towards research means you'll get faster results. But I've actually seen the exact opposite in so many industries, because what ends up happening is each person ends up creating. You guys know what a fiefdom is? Do you know that term?
No.
A fiefdom is basically
like a weird fetish that I'm about to.
No. A fiefdom is it's a term. It's a term from the medieval ages, where basically you had like people within a kingdom, right? You had different landed like lords. Each person would be jockeying for their specific thing, and basically they would compete against each other. So the more people that you add to a team, or you create more teams, what ends up happening is now you've got people fighting each other for resources, each team is fighting for another team's resources. And then what happens is, instead of trying to just work as a team together to build the best product and do the research that's needed, you end up having internal bickering that ends up destroying whatever productivity gains that you could possibly have. So there's a lot of positives when having a small core team that's willing to put in the effort. That's why if you look at Twitter right now, Twitter is getting more done now than they were when they had, I think, 7,000 people at one point, you know? So that's one of the key things I love about Tesla. They're very capital efficient, but then they also have people that understand that, you know what, being a little bit smaller on that side ends up helping efficiency.
Yeah.
So,
I don't want to go talk about Tesla too much because I don't think it's appropriate. But yeah, we can talk about general tech. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll skip that next question. My other question would be then, what are some AI or tech-related blind spots that you think we as investors should be looking at? So an example would be looking at the picks and shovels and kind of going up the supply chain.
The AI tech. I have the thing is the most obvious place on the AI tech in the market, as I see, is done. Like it's already it's all value. It's all like priced in. Like NVIDIA, AMD may be a good play. Their GPU, NVIDIA has like 80% market share in the graphics space. So one thing I think is not priced is Amazon. So for next 4 to 5 years, like next 4 years maybe, NVIDIA's bear case is always been that like all these hyperscalers, Amazon, Google, all these people will just make their own chips and they wouldn't want to use like NVIDIA anymore,
like Megatron, right? Megatron chips, right?
It depends, right? Like the GPU, right? Like the A100, H100, and like that's what NVIDIA makes. Like it's very expensive. NVIDIA chips are very expensive, right? But NVIDIA's software stack is really good. Like, so next, like to get a silicon program, like you start a silicon program, make your own chips, get it taped out, like get the silicon ready, write software for it, and get it done. Like it takes like 3 to 4 years. All right. Yeah. But this Amazon, Microsoft, Google already have a pretty big silicon team in place. All right. What the one blind spot I would say is people are not looking at Amazon. Amazon's AI is not priced in. Like people look at Amazon as a retailer and a cloud provider, but they're gonna in my opinion, they're gonna generate huge operating leverage out of AWS by just building stuff inside.
Do you think integrating AI into their search engine is a thing?
No.
So yeah, my next question is how do we see that? How does that manifest itself?
No, but just margins. Like your margins.
So here's the thing.
What you're describing is what people say the effect of Palantir software is: more efficiency.
So no, actually, the more AI workflows you need, like more people are using AI. You're gonna have to buy more inference chips, like A100 or H100 from NVIDIA, right? So, but it's very expensive to buy those chips from NVIDIA. The price is at a premium because they I don't think they can meet demand, or the clearing price is high. All right. So all these hyperscalers can do with the most smartest thing they can do is design their own chips. And it's all based on ARM architecture, and they have their own application. So integrating them would be not that hard because they're already building the front end out, right? So, and they already have scale. So I think they'll get more and more serious about it because these inference costs is not like a joke. It's very, very high, So they will spend more money on designing their own chips in Amazon, AWS. Microsoft is doing that too. So I think Microsoft is being bid up for other reasons, not because of this. But Amazon, there is no obvious AI way to bid it up. Microsoft is being bid it up because of AI's arms race with Google. They come up with some demo and they bid it up.
Carlos, I think you have a guest.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. No, so you know what? The concept that I love about it, it's AI as a service. I think that's going to be the thing for Amazon. I mean, the other thing is, I'm always looking out for secondary technologies that support the broader scaling of the main one. So I think one of my core positions that I made a lot of money on was Supermicro. Have you heard of Supermicro?
Yeah.
Supermicro is, in terms of providing the hardware that you need to go with those GPUs to make the inferencing work, they're on another level of amazing. They move very fast. Have you worked with Supermicro before?
Not really. I haven't worked enough with AI chips, AI part of chips a lot, but I did work with teams which work with AI side of chips, So, Supermicro was an interesting play. Again, my investing style is just try to buy and hold. I just don't have time to trade in and out of positions or look at very really obvious buyers and holds, and like kind of positioning my career towards the market and kind of hedging myself with like other positions in terms of owning competitor stock. Like for example, I own a lot of Enphase, not because like I love like the growth in Enphase, but also like I work under Tesla Energy. Could not be like many winners in this space, like Enphase, SolarEdge, Tesla. Like 2 out of 3 should be winners, right? So like buying, like I already have like obviously a large position in Tesla because I work there. Buying Enphase just hedges me. Like somebody has to win there, you know. So
Rango, what do you?
That was actually a question that I had too, so that's awesome.
I think I've seen some of your tweets where you're not the most excited about, but what do you think about Palantir as an AI product?
So like no, actually, like I go back and forth on Palantir. Like I actually like I do have a small position on Palantir, like just because they have a lot of government contracts and this can go out of business. It's like a defensive play. Like this can go out of business. The money can go to zero, you know, like and now they're profitable even better. Like the money just can't go to zero. I buy it in my 401k and I just let it be.
Do you think they're revolutionary at all when it comes to AI? For businesses?
So like it's so I think I have a tweet on like what I'm looking in the age of AI. Like it's 2 things, right? One is like they should have like heavy distribution pipeline, like they're the cloud provider, you know, like or they are making real hardware long term, because like making hardware takes capex, and like you have to make the factories, or you have to have the right relationships, and you have to build it all out and then sell the product. And the existing people who are already making hardware can make this whole process efficient. The reason I'm bullish on Palantir is because they do integrate. Not bullish. I go back and forth, right? I do have a small position because they do like every business generates a lot of data, and Palantir brings this data together very well. From what I heard, my friends, I have a lot of friends who work there. So like they do have like a software mode. Like they've built out like very deep software stack. Like they have built out a lot of software to make their product work. But what I'm bearish on Palantir is 2 things. They don't have like unique data sources. Their customers do have unique data sources.
Right.
They don't have unique data sources.
Right.
So they do give all the tools to legacy customers. Like the legacy customers cannot build out all these infrastructure, right? So they do build out like their infrastructure for them, and they do have like a large runway to go. But what I'm bearish on Palantir is, do they become a platform before AI, like their competitors come in, or do they just be a software provider? So if the moat is like this deep software stack, that's gone, because AI is helping build software much faster.
Correct.
But if their moat is that they are becoming a distributor, like, you know, like Amazon, when that they already have customers, right? A lot of customers. Then that's a different story. Then they go up a lot, you know. So, but like if you look at the Palantir's number of customers versus Snowflake is like got a lot more customers than Palantir, but a very thin software stack. But literally every colleague I know, every company I know uses Snowflake. Like literally everybody, like every tech company, everybody uses Snowflake, right? Yeah. But it's very expensive, like I said. So even like, you know, when it's expensive, the margin is the opportunity. If you have a software stack, if you have a thin software layer and can be built out, but they have like a large distribution pipeline. So the bull and bear case is this, and but you can hold Palantir and not lose any money because they just have government contracts, and getting that relationships and getting to IL6 is not like it's not easy. It's very hard. Yeah. So you can hold it, but like you cannot like expect like I don't think it'll be a generational company, like, you know, like
do you
it's a part of my portfolio, you know.
Do you have any thoughts on another one of T.J. Rogers' company, Enovix? I mean, you saw.
Yeah, man, I actually have a small position in Enovix as well. I actually like learned about Enovix from you guys. Like I
screaming in the chat right now. Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, like Johnny Boy, and like I'm on the Discord. Yeah, I'm on the
Johnny Boy's the freaking CFO. Yeah. I mean, seriously, at this point.
So
and marketing officer.
Overall, like over the years of investing, like what I've learned is at the end of the day, it's a management, man. Like management needs to be like, you know, believable, trustable. When they say something, they do it. they act with urgency, and they keep targets and beat it. It's very simple. Like if they do all that, it's like, and you're in a secular trend, you win. It's very simple, right? So I like their new management actually. Like I've actually like so like I've actually like worked with people who have worked for
Raj Talluri.
Raj Talluri. Yeah. Raj Talluri. He was the Snapdragon dude, right? Like he built out Snapdragon. They actually compete with Apple. Like Apple's A-series processors are like pretty incredible. They and Snapdragon compete with them, and also like I think Nuvia's acquisition back 3 years back, I think he was also like huge part of that. Nuvia is like a CPU startup found by ex-Apple employees, which was acquired by Qualcomm. So Raj Talluri was a big part of that. So he knows what he's doing. He's solid, dude. Like,
he knows how to he knows how to scale. That's the
how
thing.
to scale, exactly. Yeah. He knows how to scale. He's done it before, and it's actually an easier problem than what he did last time.
Yeah.
So it's just like silicon is inherently harder. There are not many players to do it. You have like very geopolitical comes into pictures. A lot of things comes into picture. Battery, on the other hand, has lower tolerances. A lot of people do it. A lot of suppliers, a lot of countries do it. Everybody has minerals, So it's an easier problem overall. But I believe they are extremely overvalued right now. It's all based on it's all based on what they are going to do. They're pre-revenue, right? Hardly any revenue.
They made $8,000.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all what the management says. But at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing. Like management can give the premium, or kind of like give like
make the early investors whole.
So you're the chip guy. So I have to ask this question: when ARM IPOs are you buying? Because I am buying.
The thing about ARM is they set themselves up. They are the most important technology at this point.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. They're the most important silicon technology at this point, right? Like it's not even a question, right?
Before you go into further, do you guys know ARM? Do you know Carlos and Amit? Do you know ARM?
I have 2 of them, but outside of that, I don't really.
Add that one to clip that one out for Amit's comedy
terrible jokes. Yeah. Rango, can you explain ARM a little bit?
Can you there's like 2 architectures, right? One is like the x86 and one is the ARM. The x86 architecture is what Intel uses, and ARM is what just everybody else.
And AMD. AMD is also x86.
Yeah, AMD. That's a funny story. AMD was just like Intel telling them, "Hey, you are there because we don't want to get into antitrust," and then now they're kicking Intel's ass. It's pretty funny there. Anyway, so ARM was built for small mobile stuff, smartphones and very small devices initially, right? Their focus was on performance per watt. That basically is how much performance can you get for a power you give in, right? So Intel did not think that that's a metric you needed to concentrate on. They just thought as long as because they did not imagine a world where people will be carrying a smartphone device everywhere. They always thought computers are just supposed to be plugged into the wall and be used, or data centers, right? Nobody's going to give a X about the power it consumes, right? So, but ARM just kept pushing this performance per watt number, and also because of the silicon technology, number of nanometers, how much transistors you can, how much compute, how much compute you can stuff into the silicon. Because of that, inherently, ARM just became like a beast, because so much compute you can fit into the small thing, and also you could do it in such a power efficient way. ARM just became in basically in literally every mobile devices, literally everything.
Well, just to explain why this is important is because the more compute power you can do mobilely, then
and at the right battery power
can run and battery power. This is why I was talking about Innovate, because if you're going to put that much processing power on a mobile device, right? Like say you wanted to run advanced AI on a phone, you need more processing power, which consumes more battery, right? So you need companies like Enovix that have greater power,
better batteries,
charge,
for sure.
And you need computers, you need mobile chips that can perform as well as desktop chips.
Enovix, I have some thoughts on Enovix. It's there in the Discord group. You can check it out. I put it on the Enovix group, right?
On the Discord, just on the Discord.
Yeah, it's there, right? It's so NOx is like their technology works from what I see, and they have like mega cabs testing their stuff out. So and they have a huge pipeline, they're putting it through the pipeline, and they're like scaling it up. As long as they scale it up, they win, and scaling is not a hard problem. They have done it before. That's my investment thesis. It's a 10x. If it goes down 5, I'll buy more. But I'm buying, like, I'm looking at every quarterly results and then like buying more based on that.
Right.
Yeah, proportionately to how much they beat or miss. Like that's pretty much what I'm doing with NOx, right? I do like it, and with respect to ARM, I think they pushed themselves into a corner with respect to their business model, where like there are two kinds of like ARM licenses. One is just like you can just license ARM. I don't think they. I think I think they should be valued way more than what it's worth right now.
Yeah.
So guys, real quick, I'm just putting the StreamYard in the chat because I know we took up a lot of your time, Rango, almost 30 minutes. So you guys can start joining backstage. We'll end off about 5 minutes, and then we'll get some.
So
go ahead, Chris.
just share this real quick, the screen real quick.
Yes.
So recently, SoftBank, they just registered to actually IPO ARM.
Right.
When NVIDIA offered to buy them, they offered to buy them at a $40 billion valuation.
Yes.
They couldn't get through the deal because of antitrust. So my thing is, I already made a phone call to my broker. I told him, I said, listen, you either you get me a goddamn allocation in this IPO or we're not friends anymore. Because I'm telling you, ARM is one of those things that ARM is one of those things that I think so many people don't know about, but they are the secret sauce to the modern age of silicon. For so many things.
Well, the next gen of that.
And you guys on Finance Junkies, you heard it here first. Okay, so when you guys 10x and your children's children are on Mars with their stupid phones, like, oh my God, granddad bought me fucking ARM back 30 generations ago.
Now, granted, Chris, I don't know why you're so excited to buy during IPO, because usually
no. So this is the key. I think so many people underestimate.
It's one where people are like waiting for it. It's not, they don't have to sell this one. They're just wait. It's like, you know what it is? Imagine if SpaceX announced it. You'd be like, I'm ready, or Starlink, I'm ready to go. Like I'm.
You didn't hear. See the key. The reason why I asked you, do you know what ARM is? And I mean, you were like, no. That's what I want.
No, I said I had 2 of them.
I know, exactly. I want people not to know about this, other than our viewers, of course, because I love you guys.
That's actually an interesting perspective. Because not enough people know about it. So that's definitely a good play.
It's such an outlier, though. It's so deep.
See, that was the thing with Supermicro for me as well, because when I asked around people, like, hey, do you know about Supermicro? Do you know, like, they are one of the premier providers of AI hardware that goes along with their GPUs? People were like, I've never heard of Supermicro. But if you really dig down deep, you can see that, hey, everyone is looking at NVIDIA, but the one that you want to look for in terms of value for growth is Supermicro. And that's where I think sometimes people miss out on the alpha, because they're looking at the horse that's leading. I'm not looking at the horse. I'm looking at numbers 2 and 3, because guess what? There's still prize money for 2 and 3, So
I mean, that's how you outperform, right? I mean, like it's easy to, I mean, it's like you buy when it's not very obvious, or there's a lot of fear there, right? So I mean, I'm right now, I'm just building my position in Amazon and Face. Like it's like that's the 2 positions I'm building up right now.
So Rango, I'm right there with you with Amazon. I think so many people underestimate Andy Jassy and his ability to like really scale up this business.
He's been there for a long time. He's been there for like 20 years.
I thought you'd say something like Meta. I thought you would say Meta before you'd say.
Oh, Amazon. Actually, I have strong opinions on Meta, dude. Like so Meta's reality, like I have very strong opinions on like Meta's metaverse reality projects and Apple's actually, like so Meta committed the cardinal sin of developing a new product is they just investing before they got revenue. Like innovation happens in small teams. Like it does not happen in large teams. Like it does not happen with 10,000 people organizations. It happens with 200 people organizations, 100 people organizations. And what Apple is great at is like figuring out what is a foundational technology which is needed for computing long before anybody does, and investing in that way before anybody does, where like the talent is not in demand when they actually start investing in that, and they give them a lot of equity, and then they lock them in, and then they just build, and they iterate. They've been building this VR stuff for like a long time. I mean, you should, like, Palmer Luckey tweeted about it. He actually, I think, used Apple's
VR headset.
He was shitting on it.
No, he doesn't.
He said it's so good. He thinks.
Oh, I thought he was. Good. No, I thought he actually was. Oh, maybe I thought he said it was sarcastic.
He thinks it's really good. Like, yeah.
So fast forwarding a few years, when this next evolution happens, say the metaverse or the war that's about to happen between Meta and Apple, who do you bet on? Who do you think?
Apple, man. Like Meta. So Apple, but hands down, Meta has some serious issues. Again, like Meta silicon technology. Again, like here's all the things you need to make like really good VR glasses or like VR headsets. Really good batteries. Apple's great with batteries. They built like iPhone batteries, and they have like deep relationships. And iPhone batteries are great. All right. You need great compute. So you need like great silicon technology.
The M1 chip, the M1, M2 chip.
They're gonna scale that up. All right.
Yeah.
You need relationship with developers to make your apps. They're just going to port like the whole ecosystem play. They're going to do that. All right. What else do you need? Like
need screens.
They're building screens internally.
I've got one. You need a brand that's not damaged.
It doesn't matter, honestly. Like at this point,
you don't think that matters? You think?
Are you saying that about
product wins, dude?
No, I'm saying Apple has a brand that is not.
No, they do, but better product wins. That's my philosophy. Like better product wins. Like something happens, 100 things happen, but better product wins. Like at the end of the day, you need like the reason Meta won't win, in my opinion, is they're way behind in silicon technology. Like so this is what happened. I actually got a job offer with Meta. Back in the day, they were poaching. When we were working with M1, they were poaching a lot of Apple. They were giving heavy bonuses and pulling in like people working in Apple silicon technology. Apple, on the other hand, just like give like large retention bonuses, and like you can look it up. I think Mark Gurman reported it. They gave like large retention bonuses and got them a lot of people to stay. Meta did bring in a lot of people, but the cardinal sin again, what they made was they just hired so many people. Their silicon group is such a dud. It was dead on arrival. They're just not a hardware company. They're not like a battery company. This is like a foundational
argument that I've been making for a while. Is that what it comes down to is Meta has never been able to get a product to market.
Yeah, and they don't have
portal. You look back, they've really never been able to do much other than what they do and scale that up and acquire companies that could potentially put them out of business, like
exactly
and WhatsApp, and that's been always my case.
It's just another reason I'm not a long-term holder of Meta. Like it might be short-term, undervalued. It went up 100 to 300. Could be good trades. I'm talking about like I'm a multi-year holder, 10, 15 years. I want to hold stocks because I just don't have the time to do trades 100 to 300. Sometimes, okay, it's very obvious. Like, okay, fine, let me buy some and then sell some.
Right.
Right. So it's fine, right? That's a hard thing to do too. I'm not like. It's just I don't have the time. It's like I would.
You gotta be like Chris. You gotta not sleep.
It's just I try to like buy stocks and hold it in a portfolio for a long time. So Meta, I'm not like a multi-year holder for a few reasons. Is you see, every year, every generation, what social media people use has changed. Like it was like Facebook, then Instagram, then TikTok, then back to Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, the things change because people just like don't want to use what older people use. It's just not, they don't want to do it, and like Facebook used to just acquire it off, somebody else has like really crazy MAUs. They just, okay, fine, I'll acquire or just copy heavily and then when, but you can't
do
that
very well. Meta, they do and Apple, Apple does that very well to the extent of some of their developers.
Apple, like, good thing is they just like put their own spin in it. Like they do it better.
Yeah.
Like they take the same thing and then they do it better. Facebook literally is just the same thing, and at one point you won't be successful. At one point you won't be acquired and you won't be successful. You just don't know which point it is. I mean, you cannot acquire, like, once that, like, you saw ChatGPT, you have 100 million active users. I still use it even though Bard is out. I mean, it's not that I use Bard any less. It's just once people start using a product, it's very hard to go back.
Right.
It becomes a habit. My wife, like I introduced her to ChatGPT, and she's like, I like it. I don't want to use Bard. And so she's
used
like,
to it. Yeah.
I'm just used to it. It's just like, I mean, yeah. So it's just the behavior things, like anything with respect to behavior, human behavior, how fickle it is. Like you need a strong lock-in, and you need like a deep moat. Like that's the perfect this thing. Building a social media app and generating ad revenue out of it. I mean, it's not.
Well, I don't know if you're seeing anything in the chat, but I personally have just got a tremendous.
This is great. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You're one of our best
dude,
ever.
We need to have you back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
we gotta have you
yeah.
back.
I love it, man.
Rango, have you been watching the podcast the past couple of weeks at all, or keeping up?
I try to catch it live. If not, I definitely catch it after, like before in the evening. Yeah,
okay,
and
awesome.
I DM'd you. I also follow your startup.
I just messaged you today. I thought it was in the
Yeah.
request, so I messaged you back today. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah,
so,
I did, and yeah, I follow your Discord. I actually like it because you guys make investing fun. It's not about making money for me. I buy a few stocks and hold for a long time. I don't do any exciting investing, but I do like learning about it, and I do like understanding the market and following the market and what's happening. But yeah, and one more position I'm holding is a company called Global E. I like it. Their management is pretty good, actually.
What's it
now
called?
it's
Global
E. Global E. I bought it at 15 or 16.
Rango, you got people taking notes on this episode. That's amazing, bro. We gotta have you back. This is awesome.
Oh, we gotta have you back. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to talk to you after WWDC in June.
That'd be great.
If they announce the VR set finally.
Well, they're gonna announce it, right?
Look, that's like the FSD. Honestly, that's Tesla. Yeah. That's Apple's FSD. Every year, it's like, oh, the VR glasses, the VR glasses.
It's a hard problem, dude. It's a very hard problem. It's a company-wide. It was a company-wide. Like I don't know. I don't want to break anything. So it is a hard problem. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, so it's
well, I think my dad would be proud. The second day in a row I've been on a Zoom call with 3 other rich Indian people. Like my dad never expected this from me. Like there's some punk Puerto Rican from Brooklyn.
You guys are cool, man. Like you make investing fun. Like it's just having fun and like like I don't like I get way more value out of YouTube than you guys than CNBC or anything else. It's just I think that's quite obvious.
Bring up Trader Josh. There's more brown on this channel in the chocolate shop.
Brown power, baby. Thank you, Rango, for being on, man. We'll have you back after WWDC. It's awesome.
Thank you so much, man. Seriously, we'll see you again.
Yeah,
later, man. Take care.
All right, we got 3 in the back. Let's get through them, and then we'll be done for today. But yeah, that was awesome. That was great. Yeah, that was great. Carlos, you hooked that up. That was amazing. That was great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad he agreed to it. It's awesome.
Connor Jennings, what's up, man?
What's going on? How are you guys?
What's up,
good.
Man?
Where are you calling from, and how long have you been watching the pod?
Gosh, I'm from Dallas, Texas. I've been watching you since Palantir is at 20, so for a while.
Okay.
Are you from Plano? Are you from Plano, Dr. Pepper Factory?
No,
a little bit north. No.
I'm like 10 minutes from the city. I work in the defense out here, so.
Nice. Okay.
So.
Wait, say that again. You're
military.
I work defense industry.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay. Cool, man.
So,
all right. What's your question?
My question is for you. It's on Dutch Bros. So I went to Arizona State. You drive across the street. There's 50 people hanging out. Dutch Bros. They got the freshman dorms right there. Saw it went down on earnings. Did some DD. I looked at their balance sheet and I didn't like what I saw. I think they got a lot of debt. Revenue growth is flat.
How old are you, by the way?
I am older than I look. I'm 26.
Okay, no, that's just great that you're thinking about this at 26.
Or younger than I look. So, and the biggest thing was their credit. They have a $150 million credit line, and their current liabilities are 5x their current assets. So my question is, what is fair value for Dutch Bros?
So Dutch Bros. Dutch Bros is going to be very hard to value because they are in growth mode. They are going to do everything in their power to grow, and grow. Because based on your experience, you already see how desperate the demand is for their product. right? I went to Vegas. There was lines around the block. So the thing is, do you want a business to take out as much loans as possible and expand while they can, or do you want them to just be conservative about it and let a competitor come in and take over their market, right? The key with Dutch Bros is, I would say the valuation is going to be really hard to value in today's terms, what it looks like in the future, because it's really hard to project out growth. But I think these guys have the potential to be something similar to Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, like given the opportunity. So that means that this is a perfect opportunity, not to just buy a whole bunch of shares, but to dollar cost average very, very slowly over the course of the next 10 years. So I would say if you really are interested in this company, you think it's going to be a great thing because they're a franchisee, their goal is to expand. McDonald's wasn't built overnight. McDonald's, like right now, everyone's like, oh my God, I wish I had bought shares of McDonald's in the 1980s. Yeah, exactly. Right now, same thing with Dutch Bros. Buy now. Imagine investing in Chipotle in 2010. You want to know something? I actually had the ability to invest back then, but I didn't. You know why? Because the same argument that you're making is the same argument that I was making as well. Nah, man, they look like they're too overvalued. Even though I really like the product, I eat there 5 times a day. Screw that. They're overvalued. I'm not going to fucking buy. No, dude, with these franchises, buy small amounts slowly over a long period of time. I even messed up Wingstop. I freaking love Wingstop.
Oh.
I should have been buying Wingstop.
Ricky Rose.
I don't know why I didn't do it. You know, dude, I'm telling you, I keep missing out on these generational builders, dude. I don't know if anyone here knows Wingstop, but Wingstop is freaking delicious. My wife hates it, but I love it. You know, so I would say to you with Dutch Bros, don't let the balance sheet be the only thing you look at. You see it with your eyes, how freaking crazy the demand is for Dutch Bros, you know.
Okay.
Do you think you could do an offering?
Yeah. Say that again.
Do you think an offering is on the table for them to raise more capital, or do you think they're well capitalized?
I think they're well capitalized. I don't think they're going to need it, but if anything, they'll just do debt. They're not going to do equity at this point.
Makes sense.
You know,
yeah, that makes more sense.
Debt right now, maybe
environment though. Yeah, debt right now is a problem with rates, but
yeah, I think the demand for the product is there. COVID definitely took a little bit of a toll, but dude, everywhere you look, you go on TikTok, you type in Dutch Bros, there's all these teeny boppers just chugging away at the
teeny bopper. Oh,
I mean, to me, everyone's a teeny bopper. Okay, I'm old now. All right. Well,
all right, we gotta move on. We got more people in the back. Connor, thank you for being here, man. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Connor.
Later.
Greg, what's up, bro?
Greg, do you live in your car?
Are you homeless?
Are you homeless? Do you need a place? Do you need an Airbnb?
No, we can't hear you, Greg. I can't hear him.
We can't hear you.
Hold on. Sorry, you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, I know. Just a lot of times I'm out. I end up, listening while I'm driving, and I know I'm watching live now, so I figure let me pull over somewhere it's kind of lit. And
good. Be safe.
Be
safe.
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy. This is crazy to me.
By the way, guys, so I'm in Long Island, so if you guys do end up doing any kind of meet and greet thing in New York City or whatever, I'm definitely there. Let me know when and where.
I'm from New York. I spent a lot of time in Long Island, actually.
Yeah. Cool. What part of Long Island?
Are you off the LIE or the what is it, the Clearview? What is that one up there?
So I live in Syosset, so it's like right in the middle by like the LIE
and
nice. Southwest Bay Expressway. Yeah, and I work all over Long Island. I do like B2B sales outside for Verizon, so I literally just work all over Long Island. It's pretty great.
Nice.
Love it. Yeah.
I went to Stony Brook for undergrad.
That's
right there, bro.
Great school.
Yeah.
Great school. So awesome. So again, thanks for having me on again, guys. Really appreciate it. I actually have a question for Chris this time. So
sure.
It's something that like different people like Vitaly and Amit, they've kind of touched on a little bit. It seems like you really are a trader because like you have a lot of conviction in certain stocks, and then you'll end up kind of selling out. As Amit said today, you're ruthless, right? If you make a certain kind of return, you're out. So what I want to know is like, are there any positions? Because from what you've said, it sounds like Accelera is a position, and maybe like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta are positions that you really see as long-term holds, kind of the way you were talking about index funds, I think yesterday or recently, like where you're like, I'm not going to like be like, oh, if I make a quick return, I'm out. You're really looking as a long-term hold. Are those the only other companies, or are those the only companies? Do you have other ones?
So,
and what's kind of your criteria for being like, this is really a company I really want to invest in long term, versus like if you get a good return, you're gonna just get out?
This is a good question for you to describe your philosophy, Chris.
Yeah. So,
but can you do it in Carp? Can you do it in Carp's voice?
No, I can't. I'll try to be very
Must be real quick.
I'm a trade. I trade.
Bro,
we have to go back to the beginning of time.
Like,
Socrates.
So he was holding the mic like this, bro. He's like, I was just like, bro, like chill a little bit, bro. Okay, Chris,
that's because he's like he hung out with Midwest Cannabis the day before.
No, if he hung out with Midwest Cannabis, we might get some answers. You know what I'm saying? Just fucking take it.
Let me tell you about the philosophy of being, aka ontology.
He wasn't Midwest, he was North, bro. That's what he was.
Dude.
He was all
He
North.
needs to hit that kush.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the thing is, like, I know that publicly I don't I'm trying to not discuss it so much, but I have, and this is something that I've actually come and I've spoken to some people about. I have 3 buckets when I invest. I have my long-term stuff that's like 5 to 10 and excess of that. Then you have the medium term, which is 2 to 3 years. Then my short term, and basically I just rotate companies in and out of those buckets, right? So here's an example. Most people would think that Meta's is generational opportunity, but I didn't even have it in my portfolios until it dropped 70%. And I was like, wait a second, this is crazy that this company is so undervalued. So I ended up buying shares, and I even bought call options. I did really well on it, right? Now the question is, it's dropped down to my medium area, right? So now it's in my medium bucket because I see that the juice is pretty much, the easy juice has already been squeezed. So is this company going to be one of those generational opportunities where I just buy and hold it forever? I don't know. If it gets to like a $300 valuation and I see that, hey, growth is starting to kind of just waver off, I'll sell it. I want to make sure my growth portfolio are the ones that like are a little bit more change the world kind of ones, because those are the ones that are going to give you exponential returns. So my expectation for my long-term growth ones are just, hey, this is a company that I'm going to buy, hold, and it'll just be in there forever. But I also have VTI in that bucket as well, because that's my like nest egg. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain amount of money, and this is something that I was talking to some of our people with, is have enough money on the side so that you are working from a position of fuck you. Do you know what that is? Do you ever heard of that before from The Gambler?
Yep.
Like that's a thing. That is my goal. And I was telling Amit about it too. I was like, look, Amit, we need to make sure, even though this YouTube thing is great, where we love it to death, we want to make sure that we secure the bag and put it on the side, because if for some reason this doesn't work out, I don't want to ever be put in a position where I'm shucking and jiving for some money,
And we know some people who do that,
Wow, that's okay. I'm not going to go into that, but that's the whole point, that you want to build long-term wealth to the point where you can then be free. Because I think once you get to financial freedom, dude, life is just so much sweeter. Like having your house paid off, your insurance, your like health insurance, your mortgage, none of that stuff matters anymore. You can go, like, let's say right now, I want to go and see a movie. I don't have to worry about, do I have enough money in the bank account to go see a movie? I want to take my wife to a nice dinner.
Or being accountable for your time.
Yeah.
I think you start to value your time a lot more as you get older.
The freedom that you get from that is so much. Like, but here's the thing, I'm also willing to sacrifice too. Like, I'll give you an example. Do you know where I go shopping for clothes?
What, Target? Ross. Yeah,
Target. Yeah. I go to Target. Target has great clothes, like Goodfellow brand. That's where I got my t-shirt. My wife the other day, we went to Target. I said, babe, I need to buy underwear and t-shirts. So we went to Target. This
is where I disagree with. This is where I disagree with you. I think you should. I think that's something you should decorate your body with. You should ornament your body.
It depends if you care about fashion. Like, I don't give a fuck about fashion.
Bro,
it's not about caring. It's not about caring about fashion. No, it's not about caring about fashion. Like when I moved to LA, looks are important. And one of the first things I did was I signed up for Trunk Club. I actually had it in New York, Trunk Club. It's like having a personal stylist, only because most guys' clothes don't fit correctly. And I think the girls, whatever girls we have in the chat will say this, that it's not so much about the quality of the clothes, it's the fit. And if you have, we can tell them it there. If you have clothing that fits, you carry yourself completely differently. It actually affects the way that you feel. So yeah, even if wherever you shop, the clothes need to fit correctly.
Hey, listen, Chris has a Goldschlager shirt, and that is apex of style right there.
Okay, all right. I'll tell you guys. I'll tell you guys the story behind the Goldschlager T-shirt. Okay, so this is me. I'm in San Antonio. This is like literally just got out of boot. I was in AIT, and one of my friends, like this is me, the uncool Chris. He was like, "Bro, let's get drunk tonight." But I'm like, "All right, fuck it, let's do it." And like, what do you want to have? So the guy's like, "Hey, let's try this Goldschlager." And if you guys ever had Goldschlager, bro, it's horrible. It's fucking horrendous. Like pepper. It's peppermint. It's super thick, but fuck it, why not? It's got gold flakes in it. So I had it. I got a little too drunk off of it, and I ended up getting into a fight at Joe's Crab Shack. I ended up getting a lifetime ban.
How old were you?
Cops, like 23, 24, and then the San Antonio PD was like, "Look, because you're in the Army, we're gonna give you some leniency, but don't ever goddamn come back to Joe's Crab Shack." Like it wasn't just me fighting; it was like a brawl, right? So my buddies, we walked out, we got out, and then I was still drunk, so I ended up falling into the Riverwalk, right? Like the river. Now the thing is, like the Riverwalk is not a fucking deep thing. It's just all you have to do is like stand up and you won't drown. And I was like, "No, I'm drowning." So the San Antonio PD came and fished me out of the Riverwalk, and they're like, "It's you again? What the fuck is wrong with you?"
Degenerate.
Yeah. So then, like, once again, thank God, like one of them's like, "Look, man, like we need to give this guy, like, we don't want to deal with this fucking drunk dude right now." So they gave me another pass, and like throughout the rest of the night, I ended up throwing up on the flower pots. Like there's like flower pots all along the Riverwalk. Just ended up throwing in all of them. And I'm still this day, they're probably still covered with the fucking gold flakes from that gold.
Bro, you used to get that drunk? I didn't know you used to get that drunk.
My God.
I wasn't like that all the time. I mean, I'm a much more mature person now, but when I was in my 20s, I was a degenerate, dude. That was horrible.
You weren't finding TFCs and when you were 20?
Nah, dude. I was trying to find TNA. That's what I was doing. Right. I'm sure my wife's about to pop in right now and gonna give me a lecture after this.
Big Foo Fighter hand slap you across the face.
Yeah. Dude,
so basically, the conclusion to your answer to Greg is like you have some long-term stuff in the retirement, and then you go in and out of opportunities that you think are opportunistic. And
that's good advice.
Yeah, just set up some buckets. That's what I would say. Like, just set up a bucket, know which companies you want to allocate to which bucket, and then you can move things around, because the thing is, like, companies are fungible. Like when companies perform, they can do really well long term. You should be putting them in long term stuff. If there's stuff that is in a short term play, you should have some capital set up so that in the short term, if you see mispricing, buy some of it and chill. And be like, "All right, I got you." Like SMCI. I was telling these guys about SMCI in November. I'm like, "Look, this is a really good company that no one really knows about. Get in now." Like I was.
You Chris. To our credit, you didn't really like yell off the top of. You were sending all the DD, but you weren't like, "Amit, it's under a PE of 6, going 70% year over year, under a $5 billion market." You didn't do it like that. You didn't call me personally,
bro. Come on, I got the.
You can't put that. Yeah, you can't put that one on Chris, dude.
Yeah,
no, I'm putting it on Chris. Fuck you, Chris.
I'm putting it on you.
3 days. This is what I did 3 days in a row. "Hey guys, did you check out SMCI yet? Hey guys, SMCI."
I was like, what is this fucking soccer thing he's talking about? Like, what?
I was sending you interviews with the CEO of interviewing Lisa Su. I was like, "Look, the CEO of Super Micro and Lisa Su are butt buddies. Like, you need to look at this." And y'all were just like,
they're
okay. It's like, okay, there goes Chris again with his fucking Weight Watchers again.
That's literally what we thought, bro. That's literally what we thought.
That's right. So listen to Chris.
Yeah, definitely listen to Chris. You make a lot of money.
All right, thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate you. Have a great night.
We're gonna start a GoFundMe to get you an Airbnb to live in for a little while.
Sounds good.
Appreciate you, man. Talk later.
Bro, with those Long Island real estate prices, bro, horrible, man. Tough. What is that? Crazy. The property taxes? Jeez, man,
it's a nightmare.
You better move. You should move down south, bro. This is where all the fun is, man.
That's what I'm thinking about right now.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. Thank you.
All right, later.
Awesome.
All right, last one for the night. Ken Bohorsky, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Ken?
I want to say to Chris, hoorah!
No, screw that shit. Nuh-uh.
Can you flip?
That's a Marine Corps. What? That's Marine Corps, bro. We're not that. I'm not that life. Hoorah is Marines. It's
come on. We're all on the same team, right?
Yeah, of course we're all on the same team. See, and you know what's funny? That's the story with San Antonio, like where I got drunk and ended up having a fight. It was actually the Marines that we ended up brawling with, because they said to us, like, "Oh, y'all Army people ain't shit. Army just stands for ain't ready for Marines yet. And we were like, oh yeah, motherfucker, like you're gonna say that to us? So then we were like, Marine stands for my ass rides and Navy equipment. And then it just went on from fucking there. And then, you know, it's just
this is your tax dollars at work, people.
You know,
this is what
happens.
Defending freedom across the world. Jesus Christ.
Quite honestly, in the Army, we still did the hoorah. It's like military police, Fort McClellan, Alabama.
Nice.
We still did hoorah. I don't know.
You did hoorah?
Yeah.
It must have been, that must have been back in the day with it when you guys 97, yeah, right after Desert Storm. Okay.
Either case, man, I really appreciate all your input, man. You're quite honest. You like I told Amit, no type of hopium. You're realistic, man. As far as Carlos, man, I love you, man. You're awesome.
Oh, thanks, dude.
And keep on puffing away. I see this cloud of smoke.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys, as far as Enphase, you guys talk a lot about it. I'm heavy into Palantir. Mid already knows. And I've been doing a lot of research on that. What's your real take? Like, what's the biggest thing that you could actually say to someone as far as a friend? What would you invest in
the context of Enphase or just any stock?
Any stock. Like, you talk a lot about Enphase, you and Vitaly.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, if you were to be upfront, totally open, what would you get into?
I mean, I'll tell you.
What's the ticker you would?
I will tell you what I tell my friends. Before I got on the podcast, I was talking to a friend of mine. She's a single mother from New York. She owns like 2 Tesla shares, and she's trying to build something for her retirement. She's in her mid-40s, and what I tell her is what I say to people here. I say, in 50 years, we're not going to be, fossil fuels are just not going to be as prevalent as they are now. What is going to power the future, right? Oh, do we still see ourselves in this world that we live in now in 20, 30 years? I just don't think it is. So what are the companies that are ushering in that change? The companies that are doing it are companies like Tesla and let's say on the residential side, like an Enphase. So these are the companies that I tell my friends that I care about, that I love. You know, I'm like godfather to her kids, and the stocks that I tell her to buy, take Tesla. I think you need Tesla, you need Enphase. And we don't talk about it much here, but I also think you need Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are my 4 things. If for anyone investing, starting, that would be the 4 things that I say. And then aside from that, there's other plays, but I just say, I don't think you can have a portfolio or that's well-rounded if you don't have these positions. I just don't see how. I mean, look at the penetration of solar. And if you think about it, to Chris's point, you invest in a company, and again, like I said yesterday, ask yourself what the world looks like if these companies do really well. What does the world look like if Tesla and Enphase do really well? What is the damage that they do to the world? No, they bring great change to the world, and they bring great value to the world. And if you're an early investor, they're going to bring incredible returns to you. And we're in a time right now. Like, if you think about it, we've been burning fossil fuels for say 100 years. What's the next thing after electricity? It's probably something we don't even know what it is yet, right? You could be like, say, nuclear fusion, whatever it is. But this is a time not unlike like the Industrial Revolution, where we're as a species, we are switching over, we're leveling up as we try to get to a 1 on the Kardashev scale. You know what I'm saying? And we have a chance now in our 20s, 30s, and 40s with disposable income to invest in these companies. I just don't see any outlier, including things like software, that make more sense to me than these companies.
So with that being said, as far as like the Teslas and stuff like that, what about like ChargePoint? Pretty sure you've heard of it, right? No,
I've heard of it, but they're little planetoids. They're like rogue asteroids. They're not even like a moon circling any one of the big giants. They have a place in the market, and at some point I did have ChargePoint, but what I see is there's fundamental problems, I think, with companies like that, because they're not an ExxonMobil. They're not stepping up and saying, we're going to be an ExxonMobil and we're going to be the provider of this charging. What I find is, what I see online is a lot of these ChargePoint chargers are all broken, and people complaining the ends of them are snipped off, and they stay broken for months. Why? Because ChargePoint sold it to the person there. They're not going to service it. The person that has like the real estate with the ChargePoint chargers doesn't want to invest any money in, so they stay broken. And so are they really on a mission trying to transform the world, or are they just coming in as a player to fill in a gap? And on top of that, they'd have nothing proprietary about them. Anyone can come in and do this. The only one that's really made any inroads in this is, say, Tesla, because they're incentivized to, and they needed to do that at a time when nobody was doing it to service the vehicle so that they can get penetration. So you got to look at the companies that are incentivized to do this thing and usher in this change and invest your money there, is my opinion.
Totally get it. Makes sense. But when you take a look at NIO, they also have these exchange battery stations, and they've made inroads with that. Obviously with China and, these stocks saying, hey, we're going to delist. Right. NIO seems like, hey, it's taken its beatings by far, lashings.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's like, hey, you talk about like an infrastructure of like charging stations. Well, NIO was definitely on the right path as far as these entrances or like kiosks that you drive in and they basically remove your battery and replace it with another, which I thought was a little bit odd because it's like, why would you want to use battery right on your brand new car? But I don't know
in theory that shouldn't matter, right? If the battery can go 1,000,000 miles, it shouldn't matter if it was charged in your car or a different car. I have a fundamental problem with the battery swap stations. The first problem is now you have to, the amount of batteries that you need to have enough to supply these vehicles is almost more than what you need for the vehicles, right? If you can't make enough to make one battery for the vehicle, how are you going to have enough surplus to then have a bunch of extra batteries laying around, right? Then you have the problem of moving and shipping these batteries, right? This is what's great about having the battery go, say go with the car. Right now you have to transport gasoline to the gas station, and that adds to the cost. Now you have to ship a bunch of batteries around. Then you have the infrastructure, the buildings, and the personnel to run the battery swap stations. Somebody else made a good point early on, like maybe that works in certain parts of the country, but if you're in, say, like Maine or in areas of the country where it's, say, particularly humid or it gets particularly cold, now you're exposing the internal workings of the car to the elements, and eventually you get misalignments, you get rust. It's like every time you unscrew that battery and put a new one in, it's another chance for something to fail, right? Yeah. I don't want that. And I also want my battery to be a sealed component where the elements can't get in. It just adds extra complexity where it doesn't need to be. And then forget all that. Now you have a company like Enovix that'll charge your battery, say, in 10 minutes. What do you need a charging station for? What do you need a battery swap station for? So when the battery technology gets to the point where it's one of two things, either the density gets so high that you can get more miles, say, out of a 50 kilowatt hour battery than you can a 75 watt hour. Now charging speed automatically, the charging time goes down. But then if the battery tech gets better and it can charge faster, right? Eventually this idea of the charge time being a barrier point will just go away. And now you're stuck with all these cars that have battery swaps. So I just fundamentally don't agree with battery swapping as a technology. Tesla actually was talking about doing it for a while. And I think that they found that the logistical overhead necessary is not beneficial for the return. It just makes more sense to develop the battery technology to the point where you eliminate the problem you're trying to solve.
Okay. So going back to my initial question, your pick would be?
Say one company?
Yeah. What should I be researching?
Well, researching. I mean,
What would be?
I also believe you should invest in what you know. See, I'm a tech guy. I'm a gearhead. Totally a company like Tesla, Enphase. I have solar in my house, right? So these are things that I was researching anyway to own personally, and then got introduced and started looking deeper into the companies that provide that. So I would say invest in what you know, research in what you know, because that's what gives you the conviction to make these things a larger portion of your portfolio. But me personally, I've got, my big bets are, say, a Tesla, Enphase, and then on the crypto side, on the the currency side, Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's what I know. It's what I feel comfortable with.
So I can definitely tell you, I was a big investor in Ethereum. I bought a Jeep Grand Cherokee 2021 with all the profits.
Great.
I held 21 ETH, and I rode it all the way to the top. And pigs get slaughtered, right? We all know that thing. And, I follow you guys because you guys have a lot of input and I listen. Some things I take in, I absorb. Others, it's like, it kind of reflects a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to agree with anyone all the time. Otherwise, one of those
exactly. It's no different than like Chris Patel, where, hey, he had, don't get all weird. But honest to God,
he wants to fight you. He wants to throw.
All I gotta say is that Palantir sign is bigger than him.
Yeah, the one Ken. Ken sent me this.
Well, hold on. Hold on a second.
Oh shit!
Hold on.
Hey, what did I say, Amit? What did I say, Amit?
You wanted to send one of these to Chris, right?
Did he just sign off?
He's gone.
He's getting rid of that. He's getting rid of
the I actually had someone 3D print me like a thing for Palantir like this.
This is when Chris actually have to put Palantir.
I still do love Palantir.
I was about to say you're just jealous because Amit's is bigger than yours.
It's fine.
It's not the only thing
that's what she said.
Oh, shut up, man.
Amit. What did I say to you? What did I say to you?
You told me in like February. You were like, "This is bigger than Chris's. You're gonna love it."
Okay, Carlos, if you actually did invest in it, you got a Palantir sign. Same with you, Chris.
I did. No, I did. And if you're a member
of 100 shares, you got 100.
Yeah, if you're a member of our Discord, you'll see every trade that we make. Battalion.
Okay, Amit. Let me know on LinkedIn. I'll get Carlos a plaque. Chris.
It'll go up somewhere over here, right? It's got to go up somewhere.
Carlos, you would accept it? You would let it come to your house? You would let it
be? Can you make a snowflake one for me?
It's like
now Carlos would think there's a camera in there that's watching everything that he's doing and feeding it to the government.
Oh, I'm absolutely
Hey, I honestly thought that I would give one to Tom Nash, but apparently he kind of like kapoo-pooed the whole thing, and I was like, "Fuck it." Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You can curse. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. But can you make a snowflake one for me? That's what I want, man. He
doesn't want a snowflake.
Hey, you're Chris Patel. Let me see what I can do. But you better take that Palantir and display it proudly, okay?
I will.
Hey, going back to Carlos, okay?
All right, Ken, we got to get out of here because it's getting really late now.
Okay,
so we got to be out.
Late.
Yeah, another time. You can come
another time.
Yeah,
join on anytime.
Yeah, why don't we do that? Or you can call in. Oh, Sunday. We're gonna do.
Yeah, call in on Sunday. We got a Sunday show.
I'll contact you through LinkedIn. If you're through there,
LinkedIn. Just follow me here. I'm gonna put
I'll go through.
Actually good. Let's plug the new channel. Let's put our Twitters, all of our social media. Find me on Twitter. That's the easiest way to find me.
I'll find you. You guys take it easy and God bless. Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate you.
Care.
Have a great night.
Likewise.
Bye. All right, so let me do the new account. So everyone, thank you for being here on our final edition of Finance Junkies for the work week. We're not going to be here till Sunday, and then we'll be back. But Chris, while I'm finding this link, how do you feel about 4 days in a row and 5 today?
That was crazy,
bro. I predicted that. Come on,
I was telling you guys. This man is predicting.
I was obvious. I was like,
he's all when we started this right now, like
when we started this, it was like, man, it'll be nice if we get like 400 people. I was like, bro, we're gonna get there. Don't worry about it. We got
this. And thank you guys for all the support, all the love, and for sharing us on social media, like sharing the links, sharing everything.
Dude, you guys are awesome, man. I love responding to you guys on Twitter. You guys have been sharing our stuff. We really appreciate it. We could not have grown as much as we've grown without you guys, even though I was saying we were going to do it, but it's all thanks to you guys.
And you know what? We should say, like, just for the people know, we get giddy about this stuff. We screenshot it and we send pictures.
Bro, yeah, like you guys don't realize, like
you don't realize how we fanboy on you guys.
We literally the WhatsApp is filled with people who are either tweeting or commenting something nice.
Yeah.
And we're just like, damn, people actually give a fuck about this thing.
I will say,
it's fine.
I will say this. I need to get my wife to stop buying so many goddamn cakes because I was telling on Amit's stream before, like every year that goes by, I'm seeing my junk less and less. Unless like really bend down over. So now I got to get back into like working out again.
Actually, we'll leave with this because this is something that I do think that we need to talk about more is physical.
Yes.
You're being physically fit. Right. Yeah. We don't talk about that enough. It's great to have all the money in the world, but your body is your temple, right? It's your most important investment. And 100%. So you can't let the gut grow.
That's why I decided to start getting healthy this year because I saw my gut last year.
Get healthy, start running, get active. Punch things, lift heavy things, get sweat a lot.
that's the goal, man. This year, thank you for everyone. I'm gonna end up starting to work out a lot more now. I'm
Dude, get some Weight Watchers and track your fucking progress on.
Man, that shit don't work. Come on, you don't know that.
he's just
whatever it is, your daily reminder to get fit, be fantastic, get fresh.
Bro, I'm all about the stock, but I don't think that shit works. I don't think Weight Watchers works, bro. I mean, think about it. People on it for fucking 20 years and they're still on it. Like the whole point is to lose the weight. Like how you gonna be on it for 20 years?
Felt about like psychiatrists. I'm like, what psychiatrist ever lost a client where it was like, guess what? You're cured. I'll see you.
Yeah.
Get out of here. It's like once you're in the ecosystem. But no, get fit, people. Seriously, go out, go to the gym, run, lift heavy things, punch stuff, sweat.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. That's it. Thank you all. We appreciate you. Can't say how grateful we are. It's really nice to just have an audience and see this build. And in a month,
there is one thing that a lot of the people on the comments are talking about, but we'll save that for next one. And that is GLP-1 medications, because those are freaking revolutionary. Okay. And that could be a huge investing opportunity for all of us. And that's one of the reasons why I invested in Weight Watchers, by the way, but we can talk about that next time. So you guys are going to have to come back for it.
All right.
Always leave them wanting more.
Always. And on that note, see you later.
See you later, guys. Thank you. Good night.